The glorious Rome written in history books, those magnificent palaces, the roaring crowds in the arenas, the legions returning in triumph. But what about the ones left behind the curtain? What if you were born in the Roman Empire, but not rich, not a soldier, just an ordinary citizen? What would your life be like? This video asks exactly that. We came to see history not through the winners, but through those who lived it. Today, we turn back the wheel of time and we go into the heart of Rome. But this time not through the emperor's eyes, but through the eyes of someone living on the street, waking up early in the morning, chasing bread. One morning, you open your eyes in a tiny room. You have no hot water, no safety. If you have no work, you might starve. If you fall below a slave, even though you are free, they might have more rights than you. Clean drinking water is not something you can count on every day. If you get sick, you don't go to a doctor. Maybe you pray to the gods. But wait, being a Roman citizen still gave you some privileges. After all, you are not a slave. The law protects you, at least on paper. Maybe one day you could open a small shop, or better yet, even become an actor in the theater. But above all, you have to survive. In this video, through the eyes of an ordinary Roman citizen, you will see the real face of daily life: shelter, food and hygiene conditions, family structure and social order, and what the word freedom truly meant. Now take a deep breath, because I am taking you to one of the most complex, most crowded, yet most fascinating cities of the ancient world. If you are ready, a new life begins on the streets of Rome, and this life might be far harsher than you ever imagined. An ordinary morning in Rome. You open your eyes, the sky is still dark, the dampness from the night has soaked into the cloak covering you. Where you sleep is not really a home. It is more like a dark room made of stone walls. No windows, the floor is dirt. Your bed is nothing more than a sack stuffed with straw. You are one of Rome's plebeians, not a senator, not a soldier, just one of the many trying to survive. When you step outside, the streets are still empty, but the piles of garbage whisper the noise of last night's chaos. Rome is a great city, but there is no modern sense of cleanliness. People throw their trash, and sometimes even worse, straight out of their windows. The stench has become normal to you. It has to, because living here means becoming a little tougher every day. You are hungry. If you have work, maybe today you will find some bread. If not, your only choice is to drink water at the fountain to ease the emptiness. Maybe someone hands you an olive, or maybe that day no one remembers you but the gods. Food in Rome is divided by class. The rich feast on fish, meat, exotic fruits. But on your plate, there might only be some beans and a piece of bread, if you're lucky. In the morning, the busiest place is the Forum. It is where trade happens, where people share news, where voices rise. Maybe you search for work there, a chance to carry loads as a porter, or bring wood to a bakery. Any job could be the difference between life and death for you that day. On paper, you are free. But the difference between you and a slave is thin, only words in the law. A wealthy Roman can look down on you. They can use your sweat, your labor, while living comfortably in their villa. But you, if you step on a nail and your foot bleeds, there is no one to heal you. If the wound festers, you could be dead in days, because real medical care exists only in the neighborhoods of the wealthy. By midday, the sun climbs high. The city grows louder. In the square, gladiators fight, theaters echo with comedy, soldiers march in formation. But your only thought is whether evening will come. Will you survive one more day? Because for an ordinary person in Rome, every day is a battle. Finding shelter, finding food, avoiding sickness, avoiding debt. This is the life hidden behind Rome's golden statues. And if one day you have a child, even their life is uncertain. Infant death is common among the poor, and when one dies, it is often said another will simply take their place. Here, the value of life is not measured by freedom, but by power. Yet still, a spark of hope remains. Maybe one day, you win a role in the theater. Maybe one day, a merchant notices you and offers you a stall of your own. Maybe one day, Rome itself sees you. Walking through a street in Rome, your eyes catch a line of writing on a wall, a short phrase in Latin, Vita brevis est. Life is short, and for an ordinary person in Rome, life could indeed be very short. If you return home and a family is waiting for you, that is a blessing. But family is not like today's small households. Grandmothers, uncles, cousins, servants. Even some slaves all live under one roof, and every member has a role in this system. Your father is the head of the family, the pater familias. He is not only the financial provider, but also the highest legal authority. If he wishes, he can marry you off, he can disown you, or punish you. Even the state cannot override his authority. Your mother, meanwhile, is responsible for the household, but her word carries weight, especially with the children. In Rome, it is the mothers who give the first education. And what about beliefs? Rome is a world full of gods. Every day, sacrifices are made to a different deity. Every task has its divine protector. If you plow a field, you pray to Ceres. If you set out on a journey, you ask Mercury for help. What protects your home is not just the walls, but the small household god standing at your doorway. Religion is not only for inner peace, it is there to preserve social order. If someone offends the gods, it is not only that person. The entire community can suffer punishment. That is why participation in rituals is nearly mandatory. Entertainment in Rome is very different from today. As an ordinary citizen, your idea of leisure might be relaxing in a public bathhouse or watching gladiator games in the amphitheater. But remember, those fights could end in death. While you cheer, someone in the arena might be losing their life. Perhaps you go to the theater, but the plays often lean towards satire. Criticizing the system is allowed, but only if done with sharp wit. The social structure is strict. At the top are senators and aristocrats, then merchants. At the bottom, people like you, and the slaves. But you stand just above that lowest line, which means you still have some honor. Your chance of becoming wealthy is very slim, but not impossible. Still, social pressure is everywhere. What is your neighbor doing? How clean are your clothes? Do you pray enough to the gods? Is your child well behaved? These are the questions people whisper constantly, because in Rome, if you lose your reputation, you may never get it back. Fail to meet expectations, and society will turn its back on you. If you are left alone, you cannot survive. To be ordinary in Rome means always being alert, always struggling, and always appearing strong, because weakness leaves you isolated, and in Rome, the isolated are forgotten. The Roman Empire, with its magnificent temples, stone-paved roads, grand arenas, and statues of marble, it shaped the destiny of the ancient world. But behind this glory lies a hidden truth. For the ordinary Roman, life was not easy. It was fragile, harsh, and short. Imagine this. You wake up in a damp, dark room with no windows, no warmth. Your stomach is empty, your body weak, your future uncertain. Outside, the streets of Rome are alive with noise, but not everyone belongs to that glory. For the plebeian, survival itself was the greatest victory. Every breath was a struggle. Clean water was a luxury. Medicine was a dream. And justice? It was written in laws, but rarely felt in the heart of the poor. Yet, despite this endless hardship, Rome stood tall. Not because of emperors in golden palaces, not because of senators in marble halls, but because of the nameless thousands who carried bricks, baked bread, fetched water, and fought to live another day. They didn't write history, but they kept history alive. Now, close your eyes. Walk the streets of ancient Rome in your mind. Hear the sandals against stone. Smell the smoke of burning oil lamps. See the faces around you. Tired, hungry, but unbroken. They were the lifeblood of the empire, and they lived with one truth carved into their hearts. Vita brevis est. Life is short, and so I ask you, if you had been born in their place, stripped of privilege, armed only with your will, your hands, and your hope, could you survive? Perhaps you are the future they once dreamed of, a future where water flows freely, where knowledge saves lives, where voices are not silenced. But as long as you remember their story, they are not gone. Their struggles, their voices, their silent courage live on through us. That is why this channel exists, to tell not only the tales of kings and conquerors, but the hidden lives of ordinary people who carried civilizations on their backs. If this journey touched you, If it made you feel the weight of their world for even a moment, then join us. Subscribe, share, and walk with me again through the dust and stone of the past. Because history is not only about emperors, history is about survival, and survival is the greatest story ever told.